an entrepreneur, how many times do we get rejected? And for me personally, that would make me stop.
People in this space, or people expect people in my space to know everything all the time. You gotta plant those seeds
every day.
You gotta cultivate it. You gotta go in and tend to the garden to make sure that those fruits that are coming from those seeds actually are the fruits that you want.
And I love that you said every day.
Every day.
Because we didn't get to the point of whether it's anxiety or depression or whatever it may be overnight. What's up, everyone? It's Tori Hicks, your mental health therapist and startup guru. We're here again with another episode of Mental Health is Wealth podcast, a podcast dedicated specifically to entrepreneurs to provide holistic resources with them, whether it be finances, whether it be mentally or physically. That is the purpose of this show. And we're so grateful to have an amazing leader whose mission aligns with ours to address mental health and wellness among entrepreneurs. And that guest is our very own President of Detroit City Council, Mr. James Tate Jr. Hello.
Hello there.
I feel like we need some music.
I know, right? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for this beautiful space too, man.
Thank you for blessing it with your presence. I know that before you took on this role, which you just stepped into this role as president, you were serving as the District 1 council member. Is that correct?
Yes, I have been serving as District 1 council member since 2013.
Wow.
So even once you get elevated to council president, you remain the council member of the district that you're responsible for. So still the District 1 council member. Actually, ran unopposed this time in District 1, after all these years. So this is a major blessing to be in this space in this time in my career. Being able to work with residents of the city of Detroit, actually able to see outcomes, right? It's one thing to be on the hamster wheel and keep on running, not able to see any change, but we're able to see that change, noting that we still have a long way to go to get the pleasures of everyone and making sure that all of our residents get an opportunity to really take in and take part in all the newness and the life and vitality we have in the city of Detroit. But I'm just so, blessed to see where we are today, as opposed to where it was when I, first started in 2010. It was a lot different.
Wow, and that says a lot about your impact and your character, unopposed. Yeah. So you are here now. Tell us a little bit about the difference between your role as the District 1 leader and your role now. I'm sure more work.
Yes, more is the word. The reality is, as a council member, there's a lot of things that we do that most people they don't see. You read a headline, council voted on, fill in the blank, but you don't recognize the number of meetings that we go through, the documents that we're reading on a regular basis to make sure that the decisions that we make at the table that gets in those headlines are the best decisions that we can make. And quite honestly, most of the decisions that we make don't make the headlines. I mean, you'll look at our agenda on a Tuesday and we'll have 100 plus items, and there may be one big one that made a headline. But each one of those decisions that we make, we have to factor in that's tax dollars, city tax dollars.
Yes.
And this is not our money. These are dollars that the residents have sometimes begrudgingly provided to the city, but to do so to make sure that city services are at a certain level and that we operate in a way that is respectful to their needs and their desires. So there's a lot of that's on a day-to-day basis. You go out and you have the community meetings, you're meeting with residents directly one-on-one, taking in their constituent concerns. But when you're a council president, and I just found this out, so I was just appointed council president January 5th, so it was not that long ago. And when I tell you that everything that I did as District 1 council member is now times, I would say about 4 or 5.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it was a lot before, but long days, working with different personalities, making sure that we're unified when it comes to working with the mayor, working with each other, presenting a positive outlook for the residents of the city so they can be proud of us, but not just giving them words, but actually actions and outcomes that they can be proud of. Yes. So it's a lot, but wouldn't trade it for anything. Again, when you ask for something and you receive it, you better do so joyfully.
Yes.
Because you never know when that next one is coming or not. So I'm doing so joyfully, as tired as I am most of the time, as challenging as it is. it is without a doubt very rewarding.
You're always smiling. Every time I see you pictured, whatever it may be, you're always smiling. So what's your favorite part about what you do?
To be able to put a smile on someone else's face. I mean, I host 3 community meetings every month. So now actually 4. So every first and third Friday, I host what's called the D1 Satellite Hours, and D1 stands for District 1 over the Motor City Java House. Shout out to Motor City Java House. Been doing that now for 13 years. We also have every 4th Saturday of the month, the meeting called the District 1 Monthly Meeting. That's a bigger meeting. We move that one around the district. We have presentations. And we've been doing that for, again, 13 years. But we just started a new one called Next Voice Roundtable. And this is me intentionally engaging our younger folks.
Yes.
So it's not a political meeting. It's all about government. So we're stripping away the layers of confusion and misunderstanding of what government does. I don't want you to just give your taxes to government and then complain about it. You're going to have to give your taxes. That's part of it.
Not an option.
But know what you're complaining about, know where your dollars are going, and then now engage your elected officials to do your will as a community. And having an opportunity to empower them with information, having the opportunity to provide them with information has turned into a situation where they feel more empowered. We started out, the age ranges from 18 to 40. We started out with about 18 who showed up. Last meeting, we had almost 40.
Wow.
And this is meeting number 4 we're talking about. So we're growing. They're coming and staying, and we're providing them information. We're about to now go embark upon the budget process. We brought in our budget folks, gave them a chance to kick the tires, tell us what they want to see done, as well as demystifying the process itself. So it's not just the budget, it's all of these things.
Yeah.
And, I feel very proud about that as well. So at the meetings that I typically host, it's a lot of gray hair like myself in those meetings. But this meeting, you don't have that. So to be able to communicate, engage, and take in information from different audiences, I think, and age groups, I think is important to make sure that we're doing just that.
I love that you're engaging the youth because our world evolves so fast.
Yeah.
And I always tell organizations and businesses that we work with, you have to engage them in your process because our brains can't keep up with everything. We need the fresh energy. We need their technological skills. We just brought on a youthful team. So I'm really excited about where they're going to take us next. So you got to have that youthful mindset and that youthful energy.
And it keeps you got to know how to speak the language. That's the other piece, right? Because sometimes we end up talking to ourselves. When I say ourselves, we're talking to folks in the same age group, same everything. And we know that language with no problem. But we'll see someone who's younger and we go, what's wrong with them?
Right.
Well, the issue is not something's wrong with them. The issue is that you don't know how to communicate well.
Or you haven't taken that time
and you
to get to know
haven't taken
them.
the time to do that, right? So that we've been very intentional about having this level of communication. And this meeting goes where they want to take it. They're now coming up with steering committees and mission and vision statements well beyond what we intended. So I appreciate their adopting this as their very own.
I love what you're doing. I came to know you before you became president through your Protect Your Crown campaign, and I admired it from afar because of the work that you do is so similar to ours. And currently, 72% of entrepreneurs are directly or indirectly impacted by mental illness in comparison to 48% of non-entrepreneurs. And that's such a huge gap. So we're here because we want to find out how we can address the mental health specifically among entrepreneurs. So from your experience, why do you think there is such a gap in mental health challenges for entrepreneurs versus non-entrepreneurs?
So I would say, not being an entrepreneur myself, but surrounded by them and speaking with them all the time, it is because entrepreneurs are in a situation where, you, in many situations, got to do it by yourself.
Yes.
Everything is by yourself.
Preach it to the choir.
You are, you get assistance, but you don't bank on that assistance because you know that if you don't do, then it doesn't happen. And I think that same mentality, unfortunately, extends when it comes to just health physically, but then certainly when it comes to your mental health, you just keep pushing through, because you don't have time to stop. Push through, because you don't have time to stop. The other piece to it, I think, is that a lot of entrepreneurs don't have, health benefits. When you are working a 9 to 5 and you're an FTE somewhere, you typically have health benefits that cover a certain level of, or certain number of mental health sessions, if you will, and treatments. You don't necessarily have that when you're an entrepreneur. It's out of pocket. And when you're in a position where you have to out of pocket pay for staff,
yes, those resources are scarce.
Yeah, or investing on yourself. Many entrepreneurs invested elsewhere and not within themselves.
Yes.
So I think that's what I would say would be the biggest issue that I've gotten from many of the entrepreneur friends of mine and my observations. But I mean, there is an opportunity to change that. There's spaces that allow for low cost, no cost mental health sessions and therapy, and get that information out there. But even more so, sometimes it's just talking to somebody, just communicating. And when you do that, you recognize that you're not the only one going through it. And your situation may be different than somebody else's. I mean, that you're going through something differently than someone else, but we all have something that we are trying to shed, if you will.
And I'm so glad you talked about just talking to someone. I run into a lot of entrepreneurs, even our clients, and some of the conversations are about not wanting to talk about mental health. And there's this stigma around mental health. We talk about, I need to go to my doctor because my chest hurts, or I need to go because my leg hurts. But we disassociate our minds from our bodies. And that creates this stigma of, am I crazy? So why do you think it's so difficult for people in general to talk about their mental health?
Well, we are wired, I think, for self-preservation. Self-preservation essentially teaches us that we have to do everything we can to protect ourselves. So what does that mean? I'm going to protect myself from anything that's going to harm me. Physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And so we end up protecting ourselves to the point where sometimes it actually takes us in the opposite direction. Because we're not getting it out. We're not expressing it. We're not communicating to someone. We're not going and seeking that assistance because, traditionally we things just seem to happen and it goes away. One thing I've learned personally along my journey is that if you don't take the time to deal with your mental health concerns, it doesn't go away. It just gets exacerbated and it becomes normalized. Now that thing that was a small issue at one point in time, or an issue that felt out of control, truly is, because that's now how you operate on a daily basis. You learn how to navigate it, but you never learn how to control it. And I'm at the point now where I'm seeking to control my challenges. I don't call them issues, I call them challenges. Because you can overcome challenges. Whether it's a football game or whatever it is, you can always overcome a challenge. And, this is challenges I have, and it took me a while to actually say it verbally. And still to this day I haven't done it much. I still find trying to figure out how to say it in a voice that doesn't sound weak or small. But I've heard, just say it. And every time I do communicate how I feel and what I've gone through, there's always somebody in the room says, man, that's the same thing. So that has always given me the courage to continue to move forward and, express myself and be honest and transparent about, my journey.
Yes, and it's so powerful. You mentioned earlier before we started about having anxiety. And it was very powerful in this room because I think we get healed by way of our testimony. And especially for men, I myself, I lost a uncle by suicide. And I think it was because of a lot of that built up, not feeling comfortable enough to share with anyone for years and years. And that builds up. It's kind of like you pour the water in over and over again. At some point, what is it going to do? It's going to overflow. And so you sharing your testimony about anxiety is so powerful for someone that may not be there yet to share it. And it doesn't matter how you say it, as long as you get it out. And so for those of us in the audience who may be battling with some form of anxiety, what is your tip? Or maybe it's not anxiety. What is your strategy to be able to get therapy?
So mine is in addition to anxiety, it's this pursuit of perfection.
Ooh. Ooh.
It is, especially when you're in the public eye, everything you say and do is scrutinized. So that, I mean, it's even more so to the point where I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm constantly finding and putting on myself new opportunities to be in the public eye, as opposed to shirking back and doing something more private. One thing that has helped me is to just be honest with myself. Take some time by myself as well. It's not everybody's business either.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You don't have to go around screaming, "Hey, I got some mental health challenges going on." The pathway I would say, right? The pathway I would say is go into your quiet place. Start looking into identifying what may have created these issues in you. And then create a plan on how do you day by day work towards addressing it. For me, it's, I've never thought that words of affirmation, that affirmative word, I never thought that worked. I just thought that was the silliest thing because I tried it, right? And then, when you try something and it doesn't work immediately in this world, you just dump it and say, that's it, right? Same thing when it came to meditation. I said, it just don't work. I'm still working on that, right? But I'm at the point where I can just be still. Now, we can call it what we want to call it, but being still and being in your thoughts and being present in your thoughts, it doesn't have to have a word. It's just me being present in my thoughts and me now not being satisfied with where I am, but telling myself that I have a pathway different than where I'm going. I am going to be strong. I am going to be wise, right? I'm smart. I'm articulate. I make mistakes, but that's okay. I tell myself that every day. That's my words of affirmation. I have other things as well, but that's the foundation of my message to myself. And I found that once I started doing that daily, because that's the work, daily.
That's the work.
The work is daily. When I found myself doing that, it now became not just words. These were like seeds.
Yes.
That were planted in.
Habits now.
Yep. There were seeds, and every day I tend to that garden out. Those seeds are now sprouting out the fruits. I'm starting to tend to it every day. I tend to it, and it's growing and it's growing. Some days, the deer have come by and chewed up some of that fruit, and you gotta, all right, you gotta start over again with that one. Every day is not going to be the greatest day. You're going to have some setbacks, and it took me a while to understand that as well. But I'm at the point now where I recognize the good days, bad days, but just keep on pushing. I know that if I have a good day, it's great for everybody.
Yes.
I also know if I have a bad day, there's some other folks along the way that's going to feel that. So I need to make sure that I regulate myself to a point where I don't make someone else's day bad. And that was another rationale for me to now finally get, my situation under control, this pursuit of perfection. I didn't expect perfection from everybody else. It was perfection of myself. I'm okay with you making a mistake, learning from your mistake, but I can't do that. I can't do it. And that creates this level of anxiety because now, when you may say a word that's wrong, or a phrase, people in this space, or people expect people in my space to know everything all the time, right? And they'll ask you something from 12 years ago, a document that you saw 12 years ago, and you're now, in this situation. I've got to answer. Pressure, for one, right? So then you may misspeak. You don't recognize it when you misspeak. You recognize it as you're talking along the way, and your brain's going, hey, you said the wrong thing at this point. You might want to go back. And then you start thinking, okay, well, if I go back now, while you're still having the same conversation, that's how the mind, it does, right? And you got all these layers of thoughts on top of each other. Now you got to figure out which one was first, which one was second. That's why you're still trying to stay present. That's the work that you got to do. Make sure that you don't find yourself in that situation needlessly. It's going to happen to some of us, just by living life. It's going to happen. But the more and more you work at it, and like I said, it's the seeds. You got to plant those seeds
every day.
You got to cultivate it. You got to go in and tend to the garden to make sure that those fruits that are coming from those seeds actually are the fruits that you want. Because again, sometimes you thought it was going to be this, but it really didn't do what you needed to do. Now you got to start adding some more stuff into your garden. Add some more seeds to your garden. And I'm still adding seeds to my garden right now, but
we all are.
I'm getting there.
We all are. And I love that you said every day.
Every day.
Because we didn't get to the point of whether it's anxiety or depression or whatever it may be overnight. That every day we were fueling our minds with negative thoughts every day. Mm-hmm. So we have to make that shift by fueling it with the positive, the affirmations every day, so that we can shift it again to the more positive side of things. So every day we do that. As an entrepreneur, we were talking about, me and some friends of mine, about being rejected as an entrepreneur. How many times do we get rejected? And for me personally, that would make me stop, because I'm like, okay, I'm not going to try again. I don't want to get back up again. Because that feeling, yes, because I'm like, oh, well, I feel like I should have gotten this award, or I should have gotten this. And I'm like, no, I said, I'm a human being. I think that's what we embrace, is that I'm a human being. I make mistakes, and everybody is not going to like me or give something to me, and that's okay. And so we started this group that says we're going to see how many times we can get rejected. And so 100 times is the goal, to get rejected. So that fuels us in another way, as you shared. So now it's like, it's a common thing. Right. Getting rejected in business especially is common. And so those habits, the things that we tell ourselves, are so important. Yeah.
It happens. I mean, in what I do for a living, you sometimes, I say all the time, you put yourself on the back burner for everybody else. We've got to get to the point where we recognize and realize that we're important enough to lift up, sometimes prioritize. Sometimes you got to put everything aside. You got to put all those other responsibilities to your best of your ability, right? Put them all aside and take the time to invest in yourself. And I know that, there are some folks who say, medication, don't do that. Medication is what you need, I believe, to help get you started. Take that medication, figure out a way to find some more seeds, to get it out of your system. But if that's that immediate boost to first get you to recognize how to slow down, you don't necessarily have to become dependent upon it. But again, chemical imbalance is chemical imbalance.
Yes.
We got to recognize that as well. For some, it is again, we always, I say, protect your crown. That's the name of our initiative. Protect your crown and all the way down. So it's protect your crown. That's your mental, right? And your emotional, of course. But it's also important what you put into your body. So protect your crown and all the way down. And it's also important when you start talking about the movement of your body, or lack thereof. All of those things affect your mental and emotional status. So the more and more you, again, invest in yourself, taking those minutes in the morning or at night or during the day when you can sneak some time away, that is going to help your mental clarity. It's going to help you throughout the entire day. It's going to give you a whole new, it certainly has helped me, give me a whole new outlook on what my mission is, and empower me in a way that, I have not been able to feel in years, to be honest with you.
Protect Your Crown, your campaign, which is how I came to know you. Tell us about your campaign, why you started it, and where you are now.
Yeah, Protect Your Crown is our mental health awareness campaign at this point. And as I've said previously, we're in the awareness phase right now, because we just want to make people aware that, one, you're not the only one going through it, and there are options out here if you find yourself going through mental health challenges. We're going to be moving towards legislation and finding out what type of legislation from the state or in the city that needs to be altered to increase opportunities and options for folks. But Protect Your Crown is really, again, awareness. And I don't want to just say it. It's one thing to just go around and saying it. I'm using arts and culture in a way to really embed these messages in a way that just, prose and just words don't do it. So I'm not an artist. I think I've dabbed like a lot of folks in the past, at least in my generation, had a hip hop group and the whole nine. What? So yeah.
What was the name of it?
We were the Aristocrats.
The Aristocrats.
Yes. That was our name as a group.
Okay. So what were you rapping?
Rapping, produced.
Wait a minute, let me find out the president council.
So listen, let me tell you that we have a lot of layers. All right. Let me just say, we all have a lot of layers. And I was a creator. So I would write short stories, poems, I have a radio, TV, film degree from Wayne State. That was my degree. Not in political science, none of the other stuff. So I'm a creative at heart.
Okay.
And so I'm actually digging into my crates, so to speak. This is what I'm good at. This is what's on my heart. And now I'm able to now utilize it in this space that I'm in today.
What was your rap name?
No, I can't tell you.
Now, come on. You've already opened up. You got to tell us what the rap name is. I got to hear this one.
So I went through phases.
Okay.
All right. So one, it was Spoonie D.
Spoonie D.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Don't even ask me how and why. And then I settled on James with a Z at the end. I don't know why I did that either.
Okay. DJ James or just James?
James.
Okay.
With a Z, which looks like Janez.
Okay.
But at the time, you couldn't tell me nothing, right? You couldn't tell me nothing. So those are my names that I had.
So is there something out there we can find where you spitting?
No, well, yeah. So we did a song, well, not from back in the day, recently. So last year when we rolled out the Protect Your Crown campaign.
Take this down.
We had, right? No, it's on all platforms.
Okay.
YouTube has a visualizer with the lyrics and everything. And we're about to roll out about 4 more songs come this May.
So I have a little secret, you know. If you need an additional artist,
yes. The more the merry.
I got a little background in it too.
Okay.
I got
so now I'm put you on the
rhyme.
spot. Run it, spit it.
Now see, I'm not gonna spit it,
nah.
but I will tell you my name.
Okay.
The Floritrist.
The Floritrist. Okay.
Yes,
Right.
that's my artist name. Had a band here when I first moved, a rock/neo soul hip hop band. Yeah, so I have to get with you.
Okay.
Get on the mic.
Listen, it is on because I think that when you use arts and culture, it has a way again of communicating messages that just words don't. Even social media, it does a whole nother thing. But using arts and culture, I think it has it's almost like a multiplier. People want to now flock towards it, especially when you make it cool. And that's what we want to do. We want to make this acceptable, not cheesy cool, but like really a part of what we do.
Yes, and music is a form of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Motive, Demetric Walls. He uses music as therapy with our youth because that's how we connect. That's how youth connect through music. So I think sometimes when we think about therapy, we think about it one way and sit on the couch talking to a therapist. Oh, how you feel today? But there are so many means. We use play therapy here. So there's a lot of different means. And I love that you're using your craft as well as your passion through music. So I'm excited about jumping on some tracks with you.
Well, I mean, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Like I've been easing my way back into it. I had to take a pause because I opened up this location, but I'm ready.
Well, we got a venue right here, so that works out. That's one thing down already.
Yes, let's get it. Before we open it up to questions for the audience, just tell me, what do you like to do for fun? Like I always make my team, we're either doing some games or something because we have to have a moment where we can just release and lay our hair back. So what do you do for fun?
So what do I do for fun? I don't do a lot of things for fun. I'll be honest with you. That's one of the things I've got to work on. I'm always running, working. And then there's rest. So I would say the thing that I do that's most relaxed is resting. Okay. Because, the job, there's a lot of unpredictable things that happen throughout the day. So you're being moved this way and that way. And you got to do this for the people. And you're in front of hundreds of folks. And you've got to do. And when I'm able to now like lay all that down and just relax and do nothing or just play with the dog, right? I can just go outside and play with the dog. Or just sit and just go on the computer and just surf, watch YouTube on something that means nothing at all. That is how I relax. It's just being able to take away all of the heaviness of the day, of the week, putting it aside and just nothing. And that's with no consequences.
Right. And that's cool because everybody has their own way of restoring. And so if it's rest, that's great. If it's music, that's great. Whatever it is, make sure you take that time for yourself.
Yeah, I'm working on the eating part. That's one of those things that I did.
You said
I'm working on it though. I'm working on it.
We're going to open it up for the audience. If anyone has some questions for President Councilman Tate. Any questions for him or feedback?
What's your motivation for, making the music for, mental health, fostering mental health? What's your motivation?
Yeah, my motivation is simply to help other people. I never had, born in a nuclear family, mother, father, thankfully and blessedly still together to this day. They're right around the corner, as a matter of fact. But they never sat down and talked to me about mental health. It was a situation where I'm navigating, I felt, by myself. And at an age when mine really hit me, my challenges that I started to experience, they started to experience as I elevated in my life and my career. Again, the pressures are different when you start to rise and when you expected to fail, and it's not a big deal. When you start to rise, now people are looking at you differently, and you've got to now live up to that vision that you believe that they think you should be. And so I recognize that everyone doesn't have a person that they can talk to. They don't believe, a lot of people believe that, trying to address your mental health concerns are expensive, costly, inaccessible. Box breathing, just that something as simple as box breathing gives you a chance to now pause. And for those who may not know what box breathing is, you breathe in, 4 seconds or 5 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, 5 seconds, exhale 4 seconds, 5 seconds, wash, rinse, repeat. So you do it almost like in a 4 square kind of thing. To me, that's been my motivation. I didn't necessarily have anyone to walk me through this. I didn't feel I could. So I want to be that extension of the person who I wish I had. Even with all the support, family support, I did not have the support I felt that I could go to talk about mental health concerns. And even to this day, I don't think I have the support. Parents love them to life, but when you start talking about mental health, it's not their space, not their space. So at 51 years old, I want to make sure that I create an atmosphere where, you don't have to wait. Somebody else doesn't have to wait till they're 51 years old to finally go, hey, I'm going to do something about this. That's been my motivation.
Peace received. No, I like it. I like what you said. Nothing. I like what you said. You said like
What you think that they should, you know what I'm saying? It's always you. It's like, it's never really external. You know what I'm saying? Like, what other people think about you is not your business. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's like internal. So that was dope, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you. So it's funny. When I first ran for office, I had this vision in my mind of what a politician is supposed to be. And I tell some of my folks is I would wear a suit jacket everywhere I went. No matter what I had on, t-shirt, a polo shirt, I would always wear a suit jacket no matter where I went. And then I started realizing, man, this ain't you. It's not me. It doesn't make me feel comfortable. And, you kind of look foolish.
It's not you.
It's not me. So I stopped, and I started wearing my hoodies. I started wearing whatever I wanted to wear. Sometime I was a little bit more relaxed than I should have been because I didn't realize what kind of event it was. But I found my way. And that gave me a lot more confidence just to be me. And again, that's the space I try to move in, to just try to empower folks to just be themselves. As long as you're not hurting anybody, be yourself. It's okay. We'll be all right.
That's why my hair is red.
Right?
Councilman Tate, protecting your crown is your initiative.
Yes, sir.
Does the city of Detroit have any plans for forming their own initiative to help the mental health and all of the returning citizens that are coming back?
So that's a great question. I will say under the previous administration, we really didn't do much. We really put a lot of our mental health obligations, concerns, assistance in the hands of others. DWIN, Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, many folks are probably familiar with, Wayne Metro and others. But we didn't really do a lot ourselves. In my conversation with the current mayor, I expressed to her I'm looking for us to do more as a body, as a city. And she admitted, yeah, me too. We're going to be doing more. So she's got a new department that is being stood up to deal with human services, if you will. And don't have yet what that's going to look like in the space of mental health. But at least I know right now that's a concern that she has as well, not just outsourcing our mental health work, but making sure that we have it in-house so we can now try to figure out how to dissect the true issues that we have going on in the city. It's one thing when you just kind of send somebody and then you can now go and move on, but it's another thing when you're now trying to figure out, well, how many other people are going through this? Well, what's the origin of their challenges that they're going through? How many people, are actually seeking assistance? All of those things happen when you take it on as your own. And that's what, I believe this mayor is looking to do. We've had the conversation, just need to see what the plan is, but we don't have it all together just yet. We're 2 months into a new, administration and term, but looking forward to having those conversations with her and her administration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Tate, for me, and I'm probably aging myself, growing up in the Black church, we were taught Black people don't go for therapy. Do you think that is still an ongoing thing, or are you seeing change with that? And if not, are you willing to speak to that?
Yeah, so I am seeing some movement there with our younger folks, but I'm also seeing that mentality of being stuck there for some of our other residents. Like I said, my parents are right around the corner. I can't have a conversation with them about mental health because they just don't think that. One, they don't think they're experts enough to have the conversation. That's one, right? You got to go talk to somebody else to deal with that kind of stuff. But two, they come from a generation, you just dealt with stuff. You just do it.
Whatever it
Don't
is.
complain about it, just do it. Because tomorrow it's going to be something else. What, you going to complain about that too? No, just do it. And they don't recognize that the importance of that rest. They don't recognize the importance of pausing, because all their lives it's just been push, go. And I think some of that is now, a lot of that rubbed off on me, and that created some of that pursuit of being a perfectionist and created that level of anxiety and a whole host of other things as well, and pressures. But I'm absolutely one who speaks about, getting the assistance that you need, and not this mindset of even just praying it away. Just give it to Jesus. Just give it to Jesus. Jesus has his place. Jesus is going to be there for you, but you also got to do your work.
Yes.
And many times we forget about doing our work and we just give it up to the Lord. Well, now, if you're not doing your part, you're just going to, 2 years later, be saying the same doggone thing. You're faithful, but you're not faithful to yourself.
Absolutely. Now you find yourself in a Kroger and you throwing the birthday cake across the store.
Absolutely.
Because you just gave it to Jesus, so you thought. So I appreciate what you're doing. It's amazing, needed, and necessary. Thank you.
Thank you.
And these conversations, I think, help shift to the truth of what mental health is because it's not just some mythical thing. It is a chemical. You said it earlier. It's a chemical imbalance, which is physical. So just like you have high blood pressure, or if you're going to get, diabetes, if you have diabetes. So I think these conversations are a great start to just educating people about the facts related to our mental health and our wellness.
Yeah, but again, the food you eat,
Yes.
the movement of your body, all of that is important. You can take all the pills you want, but if you're not eating right,
Yes.
it's still, you're going to have challenges, right?
Holistic.
You got to move your body. All of that has to be a part of the conversation. But many of us are not willing to do that work.
The work.
Then again, we talk about affirmations. You got to speak positively about things that are happening in your life. If you're not doing these things, you're losing.
Yes.
You're losing out, rather, and you're missing out on opportunities to speed up your process, to really infuse it with growth.
President Tate, how can we support your campaign? How can the audience support what you're doing at this point?
So, feel free to check us out on all social media. No, we don't have a TikTok yet, but
You will.
we're working on it. I'm gonna get my dances going on. But we're on social media. We're on IG, on Facebook. Councilman Tate Jr. James, Councilman Tate as well. Not hard to find. You can always reach out to us if you're old school, because I know you probably got some old schoolers there too. You can call us up, 313-224-1027. or even email. You know, whatever is comfortable for you, and that's council member Tate at DetroitMI.gov. Yes, it's long, but it works. It works. But if you call, leave a voicemail, I'll make sure I call you back. And the one thing that I think is important, you know, I don't just, you know, and many times just send my staff and my team, I'll go, you know, because I think it's important to have that personal connection to folks. Can't go to everything, can't go everywhere, but I do my best to make sure that people are able to reach out and touch, because that builds trust in my opinion.
Yes, it does. And it made a difference today.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being with us today. You all were here at the Mental Health is Wealth podcast. We have a guest in the podcast every month. Towards the end of the month, you can follow us at YouthNeek LLC. This episode will be dropping very soon. So make sure that you support us, support the movement of mental health and wellness, not just for entrepreneurs, but for everyone, because mental health, it is absolutely our wealth.